बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलामु अलैकुम रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू। 10th class mathematics, chapter number 2, theory of quadratic equation. And today we have lecture number 17. In our previous lecture, we discussed about the exercise 2.5 and question number 1 and 2. Today we again discuss exercise 2.5 and question number 3. So let's start our lecture. In question number 3, we have if alpha beta are the roots of the equation x square plus px plus q equal to 0, form equation whose roots are alpha square and beta square. So again, this question is same as we done in our previous lectures. So I hope if you know how to do the previous questions which we learned in the previous lecture, so then you can easily solve these type of questions which we learn in today's lecture. So first of all, we have to find the a, b and c, and for finding the a, b and c, we have to compare this equation with the standard form of the quadratic equation. And when we compare this equation with the standard form of the quadratic equation, we will get a equals to 1, b equals to p, c equals to q. Okay, now our second step is we have to find the sum of the roots and product of the roots of this equation. Okay, and according to these roots, alpha beta. So the sum of the roots means alpha plus beta is equal to minus b over a, and minus b is p and a is 1. Okay, so minus p over 1 is minus p. Now the product of the roots. For the product of the roots, we know that we multiply alpha beta, and alpha beta is equal to c over a. C is q, a is 1, so which is equal to q. So it means the sum of the roots are equal to minus p, and the product of the roots are equal to q. Now when we find the sum of the roots and the product of the roots, this equation, now we find the sum of the roots and product of the roots according to these roots. So, first of all, alpha square plus beta square, sum of the roots, and alpha square multiplied beta square. It will becomes alpha beta whole square, and alpha beta is q, so it means q square. Now, we know that alpha square plus beta square is equal to alpha plus beta whole square minus 2 alpha beta, and we know this by using the formula. Now alpha plus beta is equal to minus p, alpha beta is equal to q, minus p square is p square minus 2q. Now when we find the sum of the roots and the product of the roots, so how we find the required equation? For finding the required quadratic equation, we have to put the values of sum of the roots and the product of the roots in equation, and equation is x square minus sx plus p, and minus sx plus p. P means product of the roots, s stands for sum of the roots. So simply we put here the value of s and the value of p, which is a required quadratic equation. Very simple. Part number B. Alpha over beta, beta over alpha. Now we have to find the sum of the roots. So sum of the roots and product of the roots are same, which we find in our previous question, because the equation is same for all the parts. So A is equal to 1, B, P and C, Q. These are still remaining same for all the parts. It means if A, B, C are same, so sum of the roots is minus B over A is minus P, and product of the roots are Q. These are also still remaining same. Okay. Now Again, the sum of the roots and the product of the roots of these roots. When you find the sum of the roots, it gives you alpha over beta plus beta over alpha, and product of the roots means alpha over beta multiply beta over alpha. So now in our next step, alpha cancel with alpha, beta cancel with beta, so remaining is 1. And here is, when we take the LCM, alpha multiply with alpha, it becomes alpha square, and when beta multiply with beta, it becomes beta square. And we know that alpha square plus beta square is equal to alpha plus beta whole square minus 2 alpha beta. We make the alpha plus beta whole square minus 2 alpha beta from the formula of a plus b whole square is equal to a square plus b square minus 2ab. Okay, I hope you remember that. We also find this step in our previous lecture and also in other previous lectures. So that's why I don't write the formula here again and again. So now we can simply put the values of alpha plus beta and alpha beta. And we know that the value of alpha plus beta is minus p, which is the value in our previous question, and value of alpha beta is q. So minus p square is p square and minus 2q our q, because alpha beta is q. Now we have find the values of alpha plus beta and alpha beta, means sum of the roots and the product of the roots. And if we find the sum of the roots and the product of the roots, then how we will find the required quadratic equation? For required quadratic equation, we simply put the values of s and p in our equation. So when we put the value of s, it will give us p square minus 2q divided by q plus p is 1, which is this this one. Okay, so now we multiply q with x square, so it becomes qx square minus p square minus 2q, and p minus q multiply 1 q, because we take the LCM, and when we take the LCM, so we multiply q on the both hand side. So that's why it becomes qx square minus p square minus 2q and plus q. Okay, now next question. So in our next question, we start the exercise 2.6, because in our previous question we leave only one question, that is the question number 3 of exercise 2.5. Now 2.5 is end, and we have to start the 2.6. So for starting the 2.6 exercise, we start from the question number 1. Use synthetic division to find the quotient and the remainder. Okay, we know that in the 7th class and 8th class and 9th class, we are solving the equations which have the degree 2. Means we learn 4 type of equation in 8th class. Number 1, linear equation. The linear equation in which we have the simple degree 1, means x plus 1 is the linear equation. Second is quadratic equation, x square plus 5x plus 6, in which we have the highest power 2, that are called the quadratic equation. So we solve the quadratic equation in our 9th class and 8th class. Next is cubic. Now the cubic equation is that equation in which the highest power is 3. Means if we have the x cube minus 2x plus 5x plus 6 equal to 0, so that is called the cubic equation. So If we have the cubic equation and anyone asks you to solve this equation, you can find their roots by the synthetic division. Okay, by the synthetic division. So now we use the synthetic division, and synthetic division can also use for finding the roots of the quadratic equation. For how we solve the question in synthetic division. So we solve the synthetic division as the name synthetic division. So division tells us that in this method we have two terms and one term divide the other terms. One term divides the other term. Means we must have the dividend divisor both. So first of all, x square minus 7x minus 1. We divide this with the help of x plus 1. And we know that here is x plus 1. Here is x plus 1. So if we compare this with a minus 1, if we compare this x plus 1, and if we compare this with a x minus a, so it will give you a equals to minus 1. Okay, why? Because we can write this x, this is equals to x minus bracket minus 1. So it will again x plus 1. So a is equal to minus 1, or the other method. If you find difficulty in this method to find the a, if you find the difficulties for finding a like this method, so you can also find which number we can take for division. So the second method is, that is very simple. First of all, you have to check this, that is x plus 1. So simply you can say that x plus 1 is equal to 0. So x is equal to minus 1. Simple. X is equal to minus 1. So very simple. We can find the, we can solve our question with the help of minus 1. Okay. It's up to you which method you adopt for finding the number. Okay, now the minus 1. Now we write this equation x square minus 7x minus 1. We only write the coefficients. As we know that the coefficient a, b and c. Okay, so that's why we only write the coefficients. So when we write the coefficient, it gives you 1, 7 minus 1. Now first term we can take as it is here, 1. Now 1 minus 1, 1 and minus 1, 7 minus 1, 6. Now we multiply minus 1 with 6. So it will give you minus 6. Minus 1 minus 6 is minus 7. The question is x plus 6. How it will be x plus 6? First term is x, second term is constant 6, and the remainder is minus 7. Simple. Let's start the second part. Now again, here is x plus 3. So when we write x plus 3 is equal to 0, it will give you the x equal to minus 3. So it means we have to solve with the minus 3. Now how we write these coefficients? First of all, 4. Now why we write here 0? Why we write here 0? Because in the question, in this question, we don't have the term of x square. We don't have term of x square. So for the x square, we write here 0. because we don't have x square here. Now, for the term of x, we have minus 5. And for the constant, we have 15. Okay. Now, how we solve this question? First step. Our first step is take the first term as it is here. That is 4. Now we multiply. Now we multiply the this 4 with this 4, this 4 with minus 3. And when we multiply this 4 with minus 4 with minus 3, it becomes minus 12. So that's why we write here 12. Okay. Now 0 minus 12 is again minus 12. So what we will do? Now we will do, we again multiply minus 3 with this minus 3 multiply with this minus 12. Minus 3 multiply with minus 12. So it becomes minus minus plus. 12 multiply 3, 36. Now 36 minus 5 is 31. 31. Now again we multiply 31 with 3. Again we multiply 31 with this 31 with 3. So when we multiply 3 with 31, it will give you minus 93. So minus 93 plus 15 gives you the 78. Okay, very simple questions. Now, the remainder is minus 78. How we write the quotients? You can write quotient starting from the last term. Last term is 31, that is the constant. Okay, ji. After the constant, next is minus 12. After the constant, we have the variable with degree 1. So that's why we write here x. Now, next term is 4. So, 4x square, which is the quadratic equation. Now, the next part number 3, x cube plus x square minus 3x plus 2 divided by x minus 2. Again, that is very simple question. X minus 2 is equal to 0. And you know that we can solve with 2 because when we take minus 2 to the right hand side, it becomes plus 2. And here is coefficient 1, 1, minus 3, 2. So 1 take as it is. So 2 multiply 1, 2. 2 plus 1, 3. Now 2 multiply 3, 6. 6 minus 3, 3. Again 2 multiply 3, 6. Now 6 and 2, 8. So remainder is 8. Here is 1, 3, 3. Last 3 is constant. This 3 is the coefficient of x. And this 1 is the coefficient of x square. Simple. Now start the question number 2. Find the value of a using scientific division if 3 is the 0 of the polynomial. Okay. Now what do you mean by the 0 of the polynomial? The 0 of the polynomial means the remainder must be 0. The remainder must be 0. Because we know that the 0 of polynomial is also known as the roots of the polynomial. And the 0 of the polynomial means if we say that 3 is the 0 of the polynomial, it means when we divide that polynomial with 3, your answer must be equal to 0. Okay? So, now px equal to 2x cube minus 3h x square plus 9 and its 0 is 3. So we can simply divide 3. Solve with 3. Now 2 x square is minus 3h. Now what is the coefficient of x? Nothing, because we don't have the variable x here. So that's why we write here 0. Next is 9. Okay. We take 2 as it is. Okay. Next step is 3 multiplied to 6. Now add the 6 minus 3h. It will give you 6 minus 3h. Now multiply 3 with next term. 18 minus 9h plus 0, still remaining 18 minus 9h. Now again multiply with 3, 54 minus 27h. It will give you the 63 minus 27h. Okay, now the remainder is 63 minus 27h. But since 3 is the 0 of the polynomial, therefore remainder is equal to 0. So we can say that 63 minus 27h is equal to 0. So we take minus 27 to the right hand side, it becomes plus 27. We divide 27 to the right hand side, so 7 over 3 is your required answer of the h. Simple. Now 1 is the 0 of the polynomial. So again, now in this part, coefficient of x is 1 minus 2h. Again, we don't have the variable x, so that's why we write here 0 and constant 11. So 1 as it is 1, 1 multiply 1, 1. If we add them 1 minus 2h, multiply 1, again 1 minus 2h, plus 0, 1 minus 2h, multiply with 1, again 1 minus 2h, 1 plus 11, 12 minus 2h. So, remainder is 12 minus 2h, but same previous logic, 1 is the 0 of the polynomial, so therefore remainder is equal to 0. 12 minus 2h is equal to 0 means we have to take minus 2h to the right hand side, so it becomes plus 2h. Or the other step, you can take 12 to the right hand side, it becomes minus 12. Minus minus cancel, 2 divided on the right hand side, h equal to 6 is your required answer. Simple. Now the part number 3. In this part, minus 1 is the 0 of the polynomial. So 2. Okay. Now x square is missing. So we write the coefficient of x square is 0. X is 5h. Constant is minus 23. First term still remaining same as it is 2. Now 2 multiply minus 1 is minus 2. Minus 2 plus 0 is again minus 2. We multiply minus 2 with 1. Minus minus plus. 2 1 are 2. 2 plus 5h. So it gives you 5h plus 2. Multiply with 1. Minus 5h minus 2. Now add with minus 23. It will give you minus 5h minus 25. Again the same logic. Remainder must be is equal to 0 because minus 1 is the 0 of the polynomial. So minus 5h minus 25 is equal to 0. And we take the minus 25 to the right hand side, it becomes plus 25. And for finding the h, simply we divide minus 5 to the right hand side and it will give you minus 5, which is the answer of h. Now let's start the question number 3. Okay, so in question number 3, again we use the synthetic division to find the value of L and M if x plus 3 and x minus 2 are the factors of the polynomial. It means if x plus 3 and x plus 2, x minus 2, these both are the factor of this single polynomial, so find the L and M. So if x plus 3 and x minus 2 are the factors of the polynomial, so we can say that when we write x plus 3 is equal to 0, it will give you minus 3. And x minus 2 is equal to 0, it will give you plus 2. So we can see that minus 3 plus 2 are the zeros of polynomial. Means when we solve this minus 3, remainder must be equal to 0. When we solve it 2, remainder must be equal to 0. Now let's check. X cube, option 1, x square minus 4, x 12, constant m. First term remain same as it is. 3 multiply 1 minus 3. 4 minus 3, 1. Again minus 3. 2l minus 3. Now multiply minus 3. Minus 6l minus minus plus 9. Now add the m minus 6l plus 9. That is the one remainder. So as 3 is the 0 of the polynomial, therefore m minus 6l plus 9 is equal to 0. Now again we solve this with the help of 2. 1 as it is, 2 multiply 1, 2. 4 plus 2, 6. 6 multiply 2, 12. 2l plus 12. Multiply 2, 4l plus 24. So n plus 4l plus 24 is remainder. And we say that 2 is the 0 of the polynomial. So therefore, again we say that n plus 4l plus 24 is equal to 0. Now, we have the equation number 1 and equation number 2. Simply we can say that if we subtract the equation number 2 from equation number 1, so m and m will be cancelled. Okay, m and m will be cancelled, and minus 4l minus 6l minus 10l, and 9 minus 24 minus 15. So we take minus 15 to the right hand side, it becomes plus 15. We divide minus 10 to the right hand side, it will give you the L equal to minus 3 over 2. Now we find the value of L. Simply we put the value of L in any equation, equation number 1, equation number 2, it's up to you. You can put in equation number 1 or equation number 2. We can put this value in equation number 1. So when we put this value in equation number 1, minus multiply minus plus. 2 1s are 2, 2 3s are 6, 3 3s are 9, 9 plus 9, 18. And when we take 18 to the right hand side, it will give you the minus 18. Okay. Now L equals to minus 3 over 2 and M equals to minus 18. How you will check your answer? You can also check your answer. Is it your answer is right or wrong? Okay. So put the values of L and M in the question. When you put the value of L and M in your question, after putting the values, you again divide this with 3. Your remainder must be is equal to 0. If your remainder is equal to 0, your question is right. Otherwise, your question is wrong. Okay. Now, if you have any problem or any questions related to today's topic only, you can text me